So you've got now this this wonderful this jack in the box of chaos and wonderfulness that goes on in your stream. Do you? I mean, between like setting it up for, I know you now have Spookiebs as your kind of theme for October, right? That's looking sweet, and all of those different changes. Do you change those on the regular? You're changing those along with the games you're playing, sort of as a theme. What's kind of the rhythm you have to overhaul on that?
Yeah, so what's very very cool about this is my wife is into it, as far as
Mm.
it being a creative outlet for me, and she is very very artistically inclined and talented to do a lot of the digital artwork that I need. So when I'll give her like these ideas, I'll be
Son
like,
of
"Hey,
a.
what do you think?" I'll be like, "What do you think of Spook Heaves?" And if
Sorry,
she wouldn't like it,
I'm just jealous right now. That's all. We're all just sitting here jealous. Like, oh, I have a graphics designer that's not going to blow me up with 20 DMs asking if I want work done. Like, I've just, okay, great. Keep
yeah,
going.
no,
Sorry.
well,
We just all
it's
hate you right now. That's all.
listen, that's okay. Yeah, I've learned to like hate myself because I have this beautiful, talented wife, and I am just a useless bag of crap. And like, I have to just get I have to just get okay with me, with God, and with my wife to be like, I got to be okay with where I'm at
Yeah.
because I have to just appreciate what
Yeah.
I have, and I do. She is so talented, and when she does game with me, especially on stream, that's a huge blessing to me. I've often tried to push her into being like, I'll be like, hey, do you want to stream on your own? Take over my channel, and we'll like make it like a Harley Quinn style, take over the Joker, and like you'll play whatever game you want. And she's always like, hard no, don't you dare even like
Oh, yeah.
try to push it. She didn't want anything to do with it, but she's super talented and also doesn't want anybody to know how talented she is at doing that. I'm like, hey, you should commission this stuff, and she's like, no, stop trying to
Mm.
make me do things.
Oh,
But
jeez.
when I toss ideas at her, I'm like, hey, I'm thinking of doing I love Yakuza. So if I went to her and said,
Mhm.
I want to play all the Yakuza games, she'd be like, I got it. And she would make me, a new logo and stuff like that. And then I would build all the OBS scenes and all the camera borders and everything, and she would give me assets, and we build that together.
Wow. Wow.
And so that's the same thing I had with Spooky. Is I was like, I have this idea. I'm thinking, kind of Stranger Things style. And she was like, okay. Yeah, she was like, I like it. I'll run with it. And so then, like, during the day, I sent her this crappy mock-up, and it's always terrible. Like, I use like paint.net, and I'm like in there, I'm like, check how cool this is. I draw with like line art, and then she sends me back this immaculate logo, and I'm like, okay,
I'm,
cool.
I'm
Like, I'm glad you like my idea, but now I feel even worse because I thought mine was good and it wasn't. Yours is good.
here's this circle for a head
Uh-huh.
and a
Uh-huh.
neckline. Yeah, I'm picturing that. And she's like, "Oh, I just mocked this up, and it's Da Vinci." That
It
kind of
is.
thing. I got you.
It literally is every time. And
Mm.
so that's kind of how it goes. Is I spitball ideas off of her a lot, and then I have kind of a think tank, and they'll shoot ideas at me, and we'll send kind of videos and ideas back and forth, and we'll be like yes or no. Like I've done a couple of options for like avatar switches and everything, and a couple of times I've been like, don't do that. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
good if for people that are starting out or like thinking of getting things done. There are a lot of people on Fiverr that will make you things, and just
Mhm.
you can put it out there. If you do spend enough time on it though, and you kind of get that think tank around you, people you trust that will be honest with their feedback, that will
Yeah,
say
yeah.
that doesn't look like you, that doesn't look good. That honesty is key in all of this. Like I
Mhm.
know if I go to my wife, if I wrote a song or if I did like a voiceover or something, I'm like, is this good? And she says yes, I can take that to the bank.
Yeah.
And if she
Yes.
says no, I'm going back downstairs and working on it.
Man,
Um,
that's invaluable. Like, do not
mhm.
surround yourself with yes men or yes
Yeah.
women in this area. It just doesn't.
Hmm.
It's not good for anybody. If you're pursuing kind of a production or a content that the goal is to make that the focal point and the offering to a viewer or someone else, it's not about our egos in that, and that's a tough thing. That's a tough thing to get, because I've said it before, this is a very vulnerable platform too.
Mm.
We all put ourselves out there in front of people, and the internet is what it is. It's cruel and fleeting and all this other stuff. So to sift through all that's there and really surround yourself with the right people, good people, that's huge. That's huge for any young streamer, I would say.
Well, I'm sure you probably felt this too, but there is a I don't know. I'm not going to assume, I know your personality or anything like that, but I don't have, a strong desire to be liked. I wasn't looking for, affirmation in my being or in myself
Mm.
by streaming. I was more looking for people to hang out and share video games with. That's been my dream my entire life, was be into games media or to
Yeah.
you know, game with people professionally or do anything like that. We're gonna just be like surrounded by people who just enjoy video games. And if I can be a bridge between someone and a cool game maybe they've never heard of before, or maybe they didn't play this way before, or maybe they're not looking for someone super toxic, because I'm not hyper competitive.
Mhm.
I'm just not. When it gets down to the nitty gritty, if I'm like doing a 1v1 or something, I would much rather just like bow out and tell someone they did really good and see them smile about it and be like, oh, we can both leave feeling good. I'm good, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Instead of
Okay.
one of us feeling crappy. Like, I hate that feeling of someone, myself or
Mm.
anyone around me, like leaving some situation or game or something feeling worse than they did before. And so for me, streaming was always this way. It's like, how can we all share this experience and leave with like this positive vibe in some way, shape, or form? And you know, I think the closest I've gotten to it is going to we've been to 11 Penny Arcade Expos,
Oh
and
wow.
that gathering is just nothing but pure energy and joy, and you know, everybody's ecstatic, and it's serotonin flows from the ceiling like the, you
Jeez.
know, fire alarm went off, you know, that time. It's just that style of like gaming joy and love and passion is what I've always wanted, and Twitch has provided that for me. And now it's like my favorite thing to do, you know. It's become
Mm.
something that I crave, you know. It's just like sharing new, old, unseen, you know, experiences that maybe I wasn't even going to do. But this group
Mm.
of people, it's like, you know, we want to do this. Can you, you know, make it happen for all of us as a group? And
Yeah.
that's, you know, it's kind of been a really cool outlet that way.
Yeah.